It's time to break barriers and build bridges. Welcome to the DW Global Media Forum 2025. In times of crises, conflicts, and fake news, free and unbiased information is more important than ever, but it's becoming increasingly difficult to access. Let's exchange ideas and insights on how to strengthen journalism. Together, we see
the DW Global Media Forum 2025. Everyone, welcome to day 2 of the Global Media Forum here in Bonn. It's so good to see all of you here. Are you having a good time with us? Thank you, thank you. I'm gonna need more energy today. And I just have the exact right person to wake all of you up. I can imagine that for some of you it was a very short night, but we want to start with a bang again, day 2 of the DW GMF. And that is why we will have as the opening act a comedian. We have invited Aurel Mertz to the GMF stage. He's not just a comedian, he's a TV presenter, he's a podcaster, he's very, very popular and successful on social media. And last week, I was at the office and I was bragging to my colleagues that, oh, I'm gonna meet Aurel Mertz. And then one colleague was like, what? He's gonna be at the GMF? I said, yeah. And I could just tell from the look in her eyes that that was the moment when she regretted not having registered for this year's GMF. So I asked her, why'd you like him so much? And she told me, Liz, you know what? As a journalist, you're always chasing deadlines, chasing stories. You have sometimes information that is very depressing. And when I'm on social media and I'm just scrolling through Aurel's Instagram, I always find something to laugh about. So, Zilia, I know you're watching the live stream. This is for you. We're allowed, I was asked, oh, are we allowed to have fun here because we're talking about so many heavy topics? Yes. For the next 10 minutes, you're allowed to have fun, you're allowed to laugh, you're allowed to cheer, and I want you to give a warm welcome to Aurel Mertz. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, what's up? Good to see you. Doing stand-up at 10 in the morning in front of journalists. That's a real recession indicator. But good to see you. Do you have a good time? Yeah? Okay, I think it's really nice when you do stand-up that like the people connect with each other. I see you sitting apart from each other, but maybe look to your right and say, good morning, bad boy or bad girl, to whoever sits next to you. Now to the left. That was awkward, love it. Yeah, for my first story, I'm going to say a word I usually don't like to say because it's an insulting word, but I need to say the word for the story. So, a few weeks ago, I found my sister's friends book, and I saw in 1997, I wrote in it, at name I wrote Aurel, at favorite color I wrote orange, and at favorite animal I wrote a normal house cat, and at star sign I wrote bitch. When I was 7 years old, I thought my star sign is bitch. So I was like, huh? When did I get first in touch with the word bitch? And then I remembered at school, we called each other a bitch. We said, you're a bitch, 7-year-old boys, bitch, for no reason. And later, that word got used to insult women, which makes no sense, because women gifted us our lives. So I never knew what is a bitch until I saw Donald Trump speaking to Zelensky at the White House. I mean, his star sign is at least bitch. He's like the bitchest man alive, I gotta say. Do we have Americans here? Yes? What's going on? We are tired. What's happening? I mean, I gotta say, it's entertaining, but it's a little stressful. Like, did you say thank you once? I mean, that's a bitch move. So, but now, yesterday I saw an interview, they interviewed Donald Trump, and they asked him if he would be ready to deport Elon Musk. And I thought, karma is a bitch, but again, men are bitches. And now that he wants to found his new party, which I find really interesting, the America Party, and I think as a German, it's really good for me to see that the states will have more parties than two, because as a German, I can tell you a diverse political landscape is really important. Like we have the AfD, which is our right-wing party. Then we have the CDU, which is our right-wing party, but with Christian in the name. Then we have the CSU, which is our right-wing party with Christian in the name, and they speak Bavarian. Then we have the FDP, which is our right-wing party, but they have really good tailored suits. And they're not in the Bundestag anymore. Then we have the BSW, which is our right-wing party, but pretending to be left. Then we have the Green Party, which is not right-wing, but sometimes our environmental party, but sometimes they make right-wing decisions, but they do it with a tummy ache. Like they still deport you, but they don't like to do it, but you have to go. And then we have our Socialist Party, the SPD, and nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. It's like what is it? Like our former chancellor was from that party, but what did he do? Like I never met the guy. Like the only weeks I could see him was when he was wearing this eye patch. For a few weeks he was wearing an eye patch because he fell while hiding or something. And that was the only time I can remember about him. But it was really cool. We didn't even have a military parade for the eye patch. I mean, I love the fucking eye patch. I saw a documentary lately about a guy, he's called Josef Fritzl. He's the worst Austrian there's ever been, close. He had 7 children with his daughter, and he was hiding her in her basement over 20 years, and now he's in prison. And a psychologist visited him and said that Josef Fritzl, whenever he's in prison, he watches TV, and he sees Donald Trump. Then he always thinks Donald Trump speaks directly to him, which I think makes sense, because I think all men with sexual misconduct in their vita have a really close connection. I think that's how they know that there's no client list for the Epstein Island. Okay, so. The most compassionate woman I ever met was my grandma. She was so open-minded and just a beautiful person. When the first Ghanaian students came to Germany, she saw it in the newspaper and let one of them live at her house. And they fell in love, and they made 2 children who were the first black-born children in Stuttgart, Germany. And I always thought, how can she be so open-minded, especially at that time? And 50 years later, I was sitting at her house with my uncle and my dad, and it was the 11th September, and it was like a terrible thing, and nobody had words to describe what we just saw. And then they were showing the terrorists at the screen, at the TV, and we were all just shocked. And then my grandma looked at the screen and she said, I don't know why the terrorists are doing such terrible things. They're beautiful men. And then I realized that in patriarchy, even women think with their dick. Okay, one more thing. One more thing. I like to watch reality TV, and I think it's really comparable to politics, especially because your president is a reality TV star. Why is that? So, my favorite show is Temptation Island. It's a show about 4 couples, and they switch up and they go to different houses. In those houses, they will meet people who are trying to seduce them. And the men will go in one house, the women in the other one. And what's really disturbing is there are cameras everywhere and they still cheat all the time. And I watched Temptation Island Spain. And there was a guy, his name was Montoya, and his girlfriend was Anita. And let's say Montoya did a little mistake. He got a lap dance in his house. And they showed the video of the lap dance to his girlfriend Anita in the other house. She saw it, got angry, and slept with another guy. And I gotta say, in German reality TV, when they have sex, they just vibrate under the curtain. But not the Spanish people. I mean, mamacita, clap them cheeks. I get to the point. So, they showed the video of her having sex to her boyfriend, Montoya. But they didn't show it to him just anyway, they showed it to him at the beach. Montoya was seeing that video of his girlfriend having sex, and he broke down. He started crying, he teared off his shirt, and then he ran to the laptop and kicked it away. The TV host saw that, went to the laptop, picked it up, and said, por favor, Montoya. Put it back up and said, you finish this. Montoya looked at it, and at some point he couldn't take it anymore. He started crying and yelling and ripped his shirt apart, and he ran down the beach. But what he didn't know is the cameraman was fucking Usain Bolt. So he followed him like this. And then they did a brilliant thing. They cut, through his running, they always cut his girlfriend back and forth having sex and him running. And it was such a beautiful moment for me to see. It was really humbling to see another man cry, falling down flat on earth because his significant other had sex with somebody else. And then I thought, maybe every man should have this humbling experience. In that moment, when Montoya broke down crying in TV in front of the whole world, the patriarchy died for a moment. Hey, thank you, great crowd. And thank you for the work you're doing. I always wanted to be a journalist, but then I decided I really prefer to make jokes about the things you report on. Thank you for your work.
So, thank you, Melissa, for being our representative American. When we were backstage with Aurel, he asked the makeup artist, like, what is the GMF crowd like? What kind of jokes can we make? How receptive is this audience? And we said, you just say whatever you want to say. They might find it funny, but they may not be able to show it. Thank you very much. That was very entertaining. Thank you, Aurel. And by the way, Aurel, if you want to see a more serious side of him, he's going to be on a panel with Edith over at the Kunstmuseum at 12 noon. All right, it is now time for our first panel of the day, and for that, I want to welcome Melissa Chan. She's our DW news anchor. Welcome, Melissa, to the stage, and I'd like to know from you what you are going to talk about. I understand it's about female journalists and how their life can be difficult when they are in newsrooms and when they're reporting from the field, right?
Yeah, definitely, and that was a tough act to follow. But yes, we're talking about the intimidation of female journalists, which is an issue close to my heart. I have been, unfortunately, the target of misogyny and attacks online as well. And I look